Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV, Babagede Imo TV. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the world news. Yoruba set for peaceful exit, YSDM, writes FG. Breaking, DSS arrests Tukur Mamu at Kano Airport. Oshun, police constables protest 18 months unpaid allowances. Iswap claims responsibility for killing 4 Nigerian soldiers. Iswap opened fire on Boko Haram fighters fleeing military onslaughts. Police arrest fake Reverend Sister for child trafficking, rescue 15 children. On foreign, Indian mom fights tiger to save son. And on sports, Chelsea sacked Tuchel, announced temporary replacements. And on second sports, Super Falcons break 20 years jinx in 2-1 defeat to US. Now the news in detail. A conglomerate of different Yoruba socio-political groups demanding self-governance in the southwest has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to react to the letter written by it that the Yoruba was set to peacefully secede from Nigeria. Referring to the letter jointly signed by Professor Banji Akintoye, Banji Ayiyiloge, Chief Sunday Igbo, and Professor Adeniro, who is the vice chairman of the group, they urged President Buhari to read and respond to their demands. He said the letter was written to serve notice to Nigeria that the Yoruba nation is prepared to peacefully exit Nigeria. Ayiloge explained that the letter was justified and appropriate under the law as a reaction to questions being asked by the group's diplomatic team about the reaction of the federal government to Yoruba demands for a separate nation. Ayiloge said YSDM was temperate in our letter to the president of Nigeria because we must demonstrate that Yoruba are peace-loving people. He therefore said the Yoruba people can now wait for 1 more month to await the reaction of the president of Nigeria. To another story from Kano State, operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, have picked up Malam Tukur Mamu at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano. During Daily Trust, I reported how Mamu was arrested in Cairo, capital of Egypt, and flown back to Nigeria. The former negotiator between the terrorists who abducted train passengers of the Abuja and victims' families had said he was headed for Saudi Arabia when he was arrested and detained in Egypt for 24 hours. Daily Trust observed that while the Egypt aircraft would convey him and his family members touched down in Kano around 1:55 p.m. DSS operatives were stationed at the entrance of the international wing of the airport several minutes before the aircraft landed. It was observed that the heavily armed operatives, who were also in company of others dressed in mufti, were on guard at the entrance of the arrival section of the international wing, while 3 vehicles with Kano plate numbers, 2 Hilux and 1 ICE parked by the entrance. Soon as passengers began to come out from the arrival section, one of the Hilux moved forward while luggages, presumably of Mamu and his family members, were loaded in one of the other 2 vehicles. In Osun State, concerning a protest by the Nigerian police force, personnel of the Nigeria Police Special Constable on Wednesday stormed the streets of Osogbo, the Osun State capital, to protest the non-payment of their stipends. According to the protesting constable officers, the management of the Nigeria Police Force has owed them stipends for 18 months. The police constables were gathered at the popular Okefia roundabout and moved through Alekuodo to Olaiya Junction to register their displeasure over the unpaid allowances. The protesters, dressed in police uniforms and armed with placards bearing different inscriptions, also revealed that 4 of them had been killed by armed robbers during attack on banks in Ikire and Iragbiji in 1 year. The Osun Commissioner of Police, Olawale Olokode, who tried in vain to calm the protesters, promised to address journalists later in the day. Concerning insecurity, according to Iswap, the soldiers were killed during an attack on a military checkpoint in Monguno. The Islamic State-backed faction of Boko Haram, the Islamic State West Africa Province, Iswap, formerly known as Jama'at al-Sunnah li-Dahawa wal-Jihad, has claimed that its fighters killed 4 Nigerian soldiers in Borno State. According to Iswap, The soldiers were killed during an attack on a military checkpoint in Monguno. Monguno is about 70 kilometers drive from Maiduguri, the state capital, which hosted thousands of IDPs, mostly from Kukwa, Dikwa, and Mate Council areas. It also said the country home of Mohammed Monguno, a retired major general and the current national security advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari. The terror group in the post said 4 soldiers were killed, while others were injured during an attack on military checkpoint during the week. Since the death of JAS leader Abubakar Shekau, Iswap has been consolidating its grips in locations around Lake Chad. The sect's membership has swollen with the defection of hundreds of Boko Haram fighters under Shekau. The Nigerian army has repeatedly claimed that the insurgency has been largely defeated. The terror group has caused over 100,000 deaths and displaced millions of individuals, mainly in Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states. Still on insecurity, some Boko Haram fighters who were escaping the military bombardment in Borno State have been attacked by their Islamic State West African province Iswap rivals. The military has increased its raid against insurgents on the fringes of Lake Chad. Daily Trust had earlier reported how over 200 Boko Haram fighters and their commanders were killed in a military onslaught, and how flood sacked some insurgents, forcing them to relocate to east of Konduga local government area of Borno State. Some of the escapees had sought refuge in Tina village, Bama local government area of the state, but they were attacked according to sources. Corroborating the account, Zaga Gola Makama, a counter-insurgency expert and security analyst in the Lake Chad, said the military attacks forced hundreds of terrorists and their families to desert their camps to seek safe havens in other locations. The source told Daily Trust that on sighting the Boko Haram terrorists led by 2 commanders, Iswap fighters started shooting at them. They were in their hundreds, many of them without clothes or shoes. Only few of them were holding arms. They had only 4 motorcycles, with 2 conveying their commanders. They looked very tired. Some had their clothes soaked by rain. When the Iswap fighters saw that there were women and children in their midst, they decided to allow Boko Haram to continue their journey. Shortly after they were given the chance, they moved towards the axis of Bula Bulim, the source added. In recent weeks, there are troops of 199 Special Forces Battalion, 222 Battalion, Civilian Joint Task Force in close coordination with the Air Task Force Operation Adenke have killed at least 250 insurgents so far with records. Moving on to a kidnapping story. 15 suspected trafficked children were rescued by operatives of the River State Police Command from the residence of one Maureen Wachim, who claimed to be a reverend sister in Alu Community, Ikwere, local government area of the state. During the parade of suspects by the State Commissioner of Police, Friday in Bøkø, it was revealed that the children rescued from the suspected trafficker were aged between 7 and 9 years. The CP said preliminary investigations have shown that the children were picked from different parts of the South states and were being sold out to people. He said it took over 24 hours before the children were able to tell their experiences to the police, adding that they were being tortured and maybe hypnotized as well. The CP said on September 3, 2022, Operation Restore Peace personnel of the command, acting on credible information regarding hideout of child traffickers, stormed Omigwe, Abuja Phase 2, Alu in Ikwere local government area of the state, where a lady who claimed to be a reverend sister, Maureen Wachim, aged 44 years, was arrested. 15 children were rescued and the case was transferred to CP Monitoring Unit for discreet investigation. Investigation revealed the following facts. Prosper Godwin, male, was abducted at Ikpazia Market in Bayelsa State on 31/10/2020, together with 2 others whom he does not know their whereabouts, and was taken to the suspects. Moving on to the foreign story this hour. An Indian mother fought off a tiger with a bare hand to save her toddler from its jaws, an official said on Wednesday. Archana Chaudhary stepped out of her house in the central state of Madhya Pradesh on Sunday night as the 15-month-old baby boy was relieved from him. A tiger believed to have strayed from the nearby Bangladesh Tiger Reserve pounced on them, local official Sanjeev Sriravastava told AFP. It attacked and tried to sink its teeth into the child's head, but the mother leaped to the rescue, he said. The tiger kept trying to snap the boy until villagers heard her screams and rushed to her rescue. The tiger then slunk away into the bush after the attack. She has been admitted to the hospital. She's out of danger and recovering. The baby is also doing fine, the information concluded. And to the final story, which is on sports. It's no more news that Chelsea have sacked Thomas Tuchel. Chelsea on Wednesday night sacked their manager Thomas Tuchel following their UEFA Champions League group stage 1-0 defeat to Dynamo Zagreb on Tuesday. Chelsea announced this in a statement via its website, adding that the Blues coaching staff will temporarily take charge of the first team. The statement read partly, Chelsea Football Club has today parted company with head coach Thomas Tuchel. Chelsea's coaching staff will take charge of the team for training and preparation of upcoming matches as the club moves swiftly to appoint a new coach. There will be no further comments until a new head coach is appointed and made available to news. Secondly, on the sport news is coming from the Super Falcons. Following the 4-0 thrashing at the hands of the United States women's national team on Saturday, Nigeria Super Falcons lost again 2-1 in the return leg of the double-header fixture of the US-friendly tour. Even though Super Falcons were beaten, they managed to go toe-to-toe against the reigning world champions, eventually breaking a decades-old unwanted record at the Aldi Field Stadium, Washington. The US grabbed the lead in the 25th minute of the encounter through Oluwatosin, the men's own goal. The Americans maintained the possession of the ball for the most part as the first half ended 1-0. 5 minutes into the second half, Uchenna Kanu netted a jinx-breaking equalizer to end a 20-year-long Super Falcons goalless streak against their American counterpart. However, Rose Lavelle scored an acrobatic header from forward Megan Rapinoe's assist, secured a 2-1 for the host and extended the US unbeaten home streak to 7-1 matches. This and more stories conclude the world news this hour. Before we go, some major headlines. Yoruba sets for peaceful exit, YSDM writes FG. DSS arrests Tukurmamu at Kano Airport. Oshun, police constables protest 18 months unpaid allowances. And in sport, Super Falcons break 20-year jinx in 2-1 defeat to US. On YouTube, our handle is Baba Bagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all for you to have access of our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22. For other placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and function, please dial the phone number streaming on the screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rabila Lawa. Good evening.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just tune to BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million.